Hi, I'm Anna Brewster. Welcome to Art Club for November, and we are going to be making story strings today. So what you're going to need is a stone or a big heavy bead. This is a story string, in case you were wondering. Some thick paper, nice piece of string. This is just some butcher's twine that I've got here, and something to do some colouring in with and a pencil. There's a few other bits and bobs. I'll all put them in the list, and let's get going. Okay, here we go. So I've got a little piece of paper here, and on here I should be able to make, if I've worked this out properly, 6 little circles. So I'm going to use a pencil for that, and I'm just going to draw around this cup 6 times, and this will enable me to, whoops, that went everywhere, didn't it? Never mind, we're good. There we are. These will be the shapes that I'm going to be cutting out, and I'm going to be sticking them onto each other in a little bit. So 1, 2, whoops, I'm just going to throw that all over the place. Okay, so I've got 6 little circles here. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about 3 of them because I'm going to write something on 3 of them, but 3 of them are going to have a drawing on. So I am going to have on my drawing, I'm going to have, I don't want another, I might have another one actually. I do have some spare circles over here, so I'm just going to, I'm going to do 4. There we go. I've got 4. So what I'm going to do, is this all visible? Let's just double check. Yes. On each of these I'm going to draw a season or something representing a season. Now you could do a lot of things on here. I thought about stories, so you could have done, I had this idea initially that there's a story about a crow that's got a piece of cheese and the fox gets it tricks the crow into singing. So I was going to do, and then it drops the cheese. So I was going to do the crow and the cheese and the fox, but you could do really anything you liked. You could do depths of the sea going down, so seashore, kelp, ocean bottom with interesting jellyfish and stuff. You could do an apple tree at different times of year. There's so many things you could do. It really is entirely up to you. It doesn't actually have to be things in a sequence. So you could do, for example, 4 Christmas baubles in different colours, and that would also be fine. So think about something that you want to do a set of, and then what you do is you start drawing it in. So I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to do spring. So I'm going to get, what happens in spring, we get snowdrops. And this will now test my ability to draw a snowdrop. Passable, I think. Passable. Oh, they have a bump on them, don't they, there? So if you are doing this, you may wish to Google image search it first. There we go. I'll do another one here. So you can make this as detailed or as rough as you like, but that's going to be my spring. And then in the summer, I'm going to have, oh, what am I going to have? What do we like to have in the summer? We like to have, try not to think of a flower that's too difficult to draw. Sunflowers. Sunflowers are great. They're not going to fit very well on here, I've got to be honest, because this is a very short picture, but it's fine to draw round, or actually off the picture, because you're going to be cutting all this out anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you go off the edge, only obviously you won't see that in the final picture. So let's have another one here. We're just trying to tell a story, really. That's the shortest sunflower in the world. Yeah. Botanical knowledge not working well today. It's totally fine. Okay. It's the idea that counts, isn't it? Right, we've got lovely sunflowers. So we're on to autumn now. Autumn. I'm going to do a little hedgehog. It is going to be a bit it's going to be a bit cartoon, the hedgehog, because I'm frankly drawing an actual hedgehog is going to be almost impossible. And around the hedgehog we will draw lots of leaves, like they've just fallen, and the hedgehog is just having a little hide under the leaves. Again, it doesn't matter. Go right off the edge. Sometimes it can actually look better when you do, because it looks as though that the painting just sort of carries on. You just can't see it. There we go. There we go. Yep, that's nice. Right, we're going to have another couple of little leaves here, like he's hiding. Never actually found a hedgehog. I don't think they live in my garden. Of course, I have also made this horrendous for myself to colour in, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I've got spring, summer, autumn, and this last one is going to be winter. So I'm going to have the ground and the snow on the ground. The snow coming through the air. And what stands about in the snow? There isn't much that comes up in the snow. Maybe I should have done the snowdrops for that one, but I'm going to do lots of snow. And I think we'll do, this is asking for trouble because I'm not very good at drawing foxes. We're just going to draw a little fox. And then you can all laugh at how bad my fox is. Okay, brief pause while I deal with the customer and back to the drawing. Okay, I'm going to put a little fox in here. My fox drawings are always really sketchy. It's got a massive tail. They're quite fluffy in winter, and I'm going to have it snowing. That is probably the worst fox I've ever drawn. I hope you can forgive me. Not even going to give that a second go. It's going to be fine. There we go. I'll just make its nose a bit foxier. That's embarrassingly bad. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do now I've got these four, I am going to give them a little colour in. And then what's going to go on the back is I'm going to write the seasons on. If you're not confident with calligraphy, that's totally fine. You can get a letter stamp set. You could print the words out and trace them on. There are loads of ways of dealing with that. But what you mustn't do is stress over it. So let's see. I didn't put anything in that one, did I? Hold on. I've not even got the right piece of paper here. Goodness me. There. Okay, that's better. Now, we have got snowdrops, lovely summer flowers, little hedgehog, fox in the snow. We've got all the seasons, and I've got four. That's what I needed. I've got four spaces to write on. I'm not going to do the writing just yet. I'm going to get the colour on these first. So, a little bit of colour. Snowdrops. That's quite a good colour for snowdrops. So we're just going to... These are quite posh coloured pencils, but you do not have to use posh coloured pencils. You can use anything that comes to hand. It really is fine. And you could even do them black and white if you want, but I think it's quite fun to make these colourful so that when they spin round, Do I want snow on the ground there as well? Oh no, too much snow. Let's not have snow. Let's have some brown. I'll get on with colouring these in, and then in a minute's time or so, when I'm done, or a few minutes' time, I will show you what to do with them. Right, so I've got my little animals and everything here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out as neatly as I can. Not my forte. Doesn't matter if it's not completely perfect. You can always trim it a little bit later and tidy it up. But the idea is that you've got circles that you can, what you're going to be doing is getting a circle and then attaching it, gluing it on the other side, so you've got a circle that will then rotate. And what you put on the other side, which we can talk a little bit about now, is really up to you. So you could put, I thought about putting the months on the other side, or just a little note saying spring, or you could just colour it in a nice colour. Or what else could you do? There just, honestly, there are so many things you could do with this. This is another one of these projects where you basically, I'm hoping you're going to take it and run with it, because I made the inspiration for this came from one I made with Christmas Carol lyrics on 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. It was a long time ago anyway, and I've still got it in my Christmas decoration box. And it says on it, "May your days be merry and bright." And each one is nothing near as fancy as this. They're just almost like coloured shapes, and each shape is a different colour, and on the back are the words. So it's May, and then the second one is your, and so on and so forth as you go down the string to the bottom. And I weighted it with a bead at the bottom, and I'll explain how we do that in a minute when I get to that point. Right, okay, so I've got my 4 little discs now. We've got spring, we've got, let's make sure they're all visible, spring, summer, autumn, and our little winter guy. They're quite nice. Okay, so now to think how I'm going to do the bit on the back. If you were doing a story, this is the point where you could actually write some of the story on it, which would be quite fun. If you're doing this for children, it would be fantastic. You just write on the back what was happening in the story. I'm going to go for some let's go big and bold. That'll teach me to do it freehand, won't it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I have slightly messed that up. I'm going to slightly adjust the cup on it. Give myself a little bit more wiggle room. There, that's better. And what I'll do is I'll just rub it out. So what I'm going to do for each of these, I'm going to do put the writing in and colour it in with an appropriate colour. So I think spring will be like a nice zippy green. And if I was really feeling like I wanted to put some more colour on this, I could even colour in the background or paint the background as well. That's obviously an option. We're just going to put that one there. So when you've got one of these, just make sure I cut it on the right set of lines now. And I'll rub out the bits that are a little bit wonky. And then this will go on the back of this one, see? Spring. I'm going to do the others and then I'll get a rubber and sort that one out. It's nice to see I'm human, isn't it? Now, summer. I've done this one sort of thing before, but if you are worried that you're going to do what I've just done and end up going off the end of the paper, sometimes it's easier to start in the middle. So, see? There we go. Summer, autumn. And winter. There we go. I'll colour those in and then I'll cut them out and then we will get going with the sticking and I'll show you how that works. Right, we're all set up and ready to go for the final bit, and for this you're going to need a piece of string, some glue, scissors, and I've got what's called a hagstone here, but any large bead, something to weight it with basically. And what you need to do is you need to put your little pictures in a line like that so you can measure out the string, because this is the important bit. I don't know if you can see all of those, and you can probably just about see them. You need to go from about, so imagine that's the top one for a minute, about that much above the top one, maybe, I don't know, 15-20 centimeters above the top one. You need a bit of sort of extra to tie a knot in, and in fact you could even do that up front. So if you do a little like a little hanging loop so that you've got something to hang it on. So I've got a little hanging loop, and then I've got all the way down, and at the bottom below the bottom picture, you're going to be tying on the stone. So you definitely need to have enough to tie the stone on comfortably. So let's just do, I'm going to do that first. So I've got a loop at one end, I've got the stone at the other end, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and evenly space these along. So I'm going to turn, make sure you stick the right one to the right one. So that's summer, put that one over there, that's spring, put it over there, autumn is there, and winter is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, you might need to mark it on something if you're worried about making a pig's ear of this. It really doesn't matter too much, but the first, I'll do the top one first. So loads of glue on both sides. If you can see what I'm doing here, there we go. So I've got glue on this side, I've got glue on this side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down, making sure that I've got it straight. Pop, 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 and stick the string. Here we go. The string, about, as I say, about 15 centimeters from the top, and stick the back on. So my two circles should match up, and the string should go down through the bottom. Just watch out, because I've just smudged that because I've got really gluey fingers. There we go. I'll just tidy that up a little bit. When the glue comes off, it'll be fine. So there's spring. Okay, so we've got spring. Now, I'm going to get summer involved. You might need to squash these under a book or something, because depending on how good your glue is. So again, line it up, put it on, and crush it. There we go. That's summer done. Let's do autumn. Fancy doing a seashore one of this. So, but you really could do anything. There's my little hedgehog. Get the spacing about right. Stick the string down. Get the word the right way up. That always helps. Autumn. It's nice. And now the last one, the little fox. He came out all right in the end. I was a bit worried about him. He's all right. I haven't drawn a fox for ages. Right, last one. Put it the right way up. Make sure the gap is about the same. Doesn't have to be. You could have different gaps all the way down, but I think the consistency is the key here. If you're gonna do them all differently spaced, make sure they are all differently spaced. Whereas I'm going for quite a simple version. There we go. And there we are. We're basically done. So what will happen is when you hang this up, all the pictures will be there, and they will rotate in the wind or the breeze. If you can see that, I guess you can. There we go. And there we are. It's your little story string. So that's about it for Art Club for November, and I hope you've had fun. If you make one of these at home, I would love to see it, and I do hope that you've got all sorts of interesting ideas that I haven't thought of yet. So if you do think of something, let me know. I'm at Anna Brewster Art on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, and I'd love to see how you get on. Happy painting!